Wairarapa is it's an interesting place, Wairarapa. It's sort of like Northland in some ways, in that there are some significant disparities of equity, if you like, but nowhere near as bad, obviously. But it is generally regarded and is coming into its own as a particularly desirable place to live. And Martinborough, Carterton, Greytown have become areas in which I don't think it's ever got quite to Featherston yet, has it though, Josh, just quietly?
No, Featherston's still terrible.
I haven't got to your hometown yet, but there you go. Well, you never know. The gentrification of the Wairarapa might finally get to Featherston. You never know. Anyhow, over the weekend, though, they had a particular incident with boy racers who have become an issue in New Zealand. Fireworks, bottles and rocks were thrown at police who were trying to break up a boy racer meet, so give them some credit for that. Early in the hours of Saturday morning, I think it was, 6 people were arrested, so good on the police for that. And others received infringement notice and licence suspensions amid ongoing calls for a crackdown on boy racers and on spectators. And it's that latter part that Masterton Mayor Gary Caffell feels needs much more attention, if not from the police, then certainly from policymakers. And he joins us now, Masterton Mayor Gary Caffell. Gary, welcome to the show. Thanks very much for making yourself available this morning, mate. Can you tell me, is boy racers a particular problem in Masterton, or is it just you get the occasional outbreak?
No, yeah, we get the occasional outbreak. We have, we have them around our streets on odd occasions, but nothing like this one, Michael. This was much bigger. This is something that, close as it is to our backyard. We've never had one like this before.
So how many, was it hundreds of people there?
I'm told obviously it wasn't there, but there was obviously, I've been told that there were hundreds, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
A couple of hundred from what I understand.
And as you understand, this was some sort of boy racer meet that drew people from Wellington, Manawatu, Taranaki, Hawke's Bay, as well as Wairarapa.
Yeah, all over the place. All over from the lower North Island, really, Michael. I think, and I don't know how many locals were involved, but no doubt there were some there. But the thing that gets me, as I think you said before, is the fact that there seems to be a hell of a lot of people who outside the actual races themselves who know what's going on, and they turn up for these antisocial things, and then they spectate and they can egg these guys on. So they're the ones I think too that should also have to face the law.
Now, the police obviously know that this antisocial gathering is happening. They obviously go to it. But you're suggesting that they were then attacked, is that right, by those who were attending the particular meet?
Yeah, they were. From what I understand, there was about 30 minutes or so of them throwing rocks and fireworks and bottles and whatever at police. Yeah, it got out of hand there for a little while, but the police brought that under control. I mean, the police did a magnificent job. They do a great job in finding out where these things are happening, following them through, and getting there and just trying to uphold the law. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what they're there to do, and they do a great job as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, all right. So the police were outnumbered, yeah?
Well, obviously, Michael, yeah, obviously.
Okay, and so as I understand, a police car was damaged, or at least one was damaged. His car smashed in.
Yeah, a window was broken in one of the police cars, from what I understand as well, yeah.
All right. Okay, so you're suggesting, so these things happen, that you would expect the police to attend them. It's good that they did. There have been instances where they haven't. But they have. They've broken it up. Now, you're suggesting, Gary, that if the spectators had criminal charges placed against them, there wouldn't be this level of violence and upset?
What I'm suggesting is that there are the people who go there who are supporters of the ones who are, I guess, are doing the burnouts and whatever, and when these incidents flare up, they egg them on, and to me that they're being complicit in the law breaking. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I don't know how far the police can go on that, but I do understand that the police minister is looking to get tougher on these people, and I just think that's the way they could go.
Yeah, it's when they talk about tougher. I mean, we've had Crusher Collins in the cars before. We've had obviously new law that's been proposed by Mark Mitchell. Any of those things go, and you've also, Mark Mitchell, saying that rural communities and provincial towns in particular are sick of boy races because that's where they tend to congregate in those areas, which is away from the police to a certain degree. Is it just? I guess the question is: are the police the problem here in the sense that they're not able to anticipate through their intelligence networks that there's gatherings?
Well, no, I think they are, Michael. I think they are anticipating. I think this one showed they did get to the point. They did anticipate, and they were there and they were ready. So I think the police intelligence is pretty good.
Okay.
And so I yeah. But
well, if it was, then how come there was such a conflagration? What I'm saying to you is, if the police intelligence was good, they were able to go and break this up. They obviously attempted to do so. There was an attack upon them, in which a number of people, presumably who were involved in the attacking, got away with it because there were only 6 people arrested. One would assume that they didn't have the resources available to do the job properly.
Yeah, I guess that's something you got to ask the police. But from my point of view, I mean, how do they know how many are going to be there? I mean, what gets me, Michael, about this whole thing is that somehow or rather, those who support these people or their support, they seem to know what's going on through their own social media channels and whatever. And it's a really tricky one for police. They don't know exactly where the congregation's going to actually end up and whether there's going to be violence or. So, I've got tremendous sympathy for the police as far as I'm concerned.
I understand that, and as a mayor, you've got to say those supportive things anyhow. After all,
I'd say them anyway. I would say them. Well, okay.
Yeah. But what I'm saying to you is, going back though, they might not have the law that allows them to be sufficiently armed to take. What sort of changes to the law? I mean, you've talked about.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, I just think that there needs to be a cramp down on anybody involved, and that means the people on the periphery of it, the people inside the incident. I mean, let's get really tough. Let's just make these events impossible to have. And I know that's tricky, and I know that that people will go on about human rights and whatever, but these are life and death situations. I mean, we were bloody lucky this weekend that there wasn't a life taken. So, we've got to think of that.
Yeah, because the only way I was thinking, listen, I wasn't necessarily being critical of policing. Sometimes there are flaws in legislation. Mark Mitchell, the police minister, obviously thinks so as well. The only way that you could, and maybe you're leading down this way, Gary, is the idea of making these meets illegal of themselves. Okay, number one. And then number two, anybody who participates in them, including spectators, is guilty of illegal assembly. Something along those lines. Is that what you're thinking?
I reckon you're right on it. I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking now. I don't know if they can go that far, but I think we're at a situation now that we should go that far. So, Michael, I'm with you. Maybe you should be the police minister.